Fellas. Yeah, we can do that. We can just say that and say, hey, we had the baseball derby and ain't gonna talk about that piece of baseball. Right. So, it's whatever.
We're really out here just on South Beach.
Really. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the UnProfessionals. Yep. It's probably episode 8. If it's not, we'll label it different. I'll go check the files either way. As always, it's Slim.
And Caesar.
And we are back here for yet another go-round. Look, we're going to be trying to do some different things. Be looking for a podcast soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that done. Again, we working brothers. I mean, he got 4 kids, and Lord have mercy, I made a change in my life. Yeah, hit subscribe. So you pay off for our hard work. But we're going to do a real big subscribers drive coming soon and everything like that. But we do appreciate everybody that consumes us here through YouTube and everything else. We're going to put some other stuff out there. But hey, to get straight to the point, we are going to talk about NBA free agency and trades this summer, and we're going to give a few grades.
Yeah, it's almost like the race to get to Golden State. All of these moves that are happening there. But, it's the biggest blockbuster NBA summer since last summer.
Right.
And nobody is still close to what's happening in Golden State right now. So let's jump into it. Let's get right to it. What's one trade or move that really jumps out at you first?
Well, I'll say, I don't know if it's my favorite move. Yeah. I know what my favorite move is, but the one that they talked about the most and what came pretty quick was Chris Paul to the Houston Rockets to go out there and team up with the Beard out in Houston. It jumped out at me. I thought it was cool. I think Chris Paul's an asset to any team.
True.
Even if you could arguably say he's the best point guard in the league. So if you don't have the best point guard and he goes to your team, it's an upgrade.
True.
And the Houston Rockets have looked at the last 2 seasons of having some pretty good success per se.
Yes.
And this could be something that pushes them over the edge. Some small concerns out the gate is James Harden is a ball handler. Chris Paul is a ball handler. There's only one ball. I think those guys are very skilled that they can work that out, but I still see that can be a complication.
Yeah, I think, though, with Chris Paul, I think they get something that they didn't have as much of, particularly when they got in the half court. You can really do some different things with that pick and roll offense. I know Harden was doing a lot of pick and roll, but I really see him as more of a one-on-one Euro step type of guy. But you can really see one thing that Chris Paul definitely does is he elevates the play of the big man. Right. So you might want to get locked into your boy at center, working with Chris Paul. Capella. That might be something that if you're really Houston fans, if you're really wanting to see somebody truly benefit from this deal, it would be Capella, because every center that Chris Paul has played with has skyrocketed. Tyson Chandler, DeAndre Jordan. I can see Capella really turning into a mini Lob City.
Mini Lob City, right. And that's the reason why I think some of Spurs fans like myself, we feel like we kind of missed out on Chris Paul, because if we needed him to elevate what LaMarcus was doing.
Oh, no, wait. Stop.
What?
No.
That wasn't going to happen.
Marcus Aldridge is not the same as a Capella.
That's not what I said. I just said big man. LaMarcus is not Lob City.
LaMarcus Aldridge is a 6'11" jump shooter. He is not in the same ilk as the guys that we just talked about. No.
My bad for bringing it. My bad.
Not good to allow that.
My bad for bringing that up. Anyways, is there another move that you saw? We could move on, so I don't want to get Spur bashing.
Staying with the Spurs, though, they did pick up Rudy Gay.
Yes, they did pick up Rudy Gay.
And I thought it was interesting, and I think that it's interesting considering what that might look like when you get into winning time.
Right.
So we see these small ball lineups, and I'm looking at a situation where you could play Murray, Danny Green, Kawhi, Rudy Gay, and LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5 if you needed to, or you could switch out Danny Green or Murray and Mills, Green and Mills.
Right.
But to be able to add length in Rudy Gay, provided he too can stay healthy.
Absolutely.
That's something that helps the Spurs. I thought with the Chris Paul move, the Rockets become the second team in the West. But then with the Rudy Gay move, I think the Spurs vault back into number 2 behind Golden State, putting the Rockets right at a at a 2B, if you will. But I like the Rudy Gay sign. I think it'll be good. They brought Patty back.
Yeah, brought Patty back. Yep.
Still might bring Simmons back, who I thought was a more essential piece than Patty.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still haven't signed Gasol, but I think that'll get done.
Right.
But I like the Spurs getting Gay again, provided that he can stay healthy. He brings scoring.
I like the length. I like the length on defense. And when you talk about having to switch on defense, going against an opponent like a Golden State or anybody else that has impactful players at the wing position, be able to defend the wing is going to be a plus for any team.
True.
And I think the Spurs, again, granted Gay stays healthy.
Right.
That's something that we can do. We also saw the most sought after free agent of the summer make a kind of a surprising move from Indiana to OKC. And I'm talking about Paul George. Now, this thing was baffling in a couple of ways.
Yeah.
First, you didn't think that OKC was one of the destinations that was gonna get him. That's the first baffling thing.
True.
And then the second thing was they traded him for like a bag of peanuts, a pack of gum. I mean, I'm not saying that Oladipo's trash. I'm not saying that Sabonis doesn't have potential. But when you talk about really getting the caliber of player like a Paul George, for him to go to OKC for just that, maybe Indiana. I heard Indiana just wanted him out of the East, so they just kind of. But I don't know.
Yeah, so I think some of what you have to look at, because we also heard that the Lakers floated their 2 late first round picks and your choice of Clarkson and Randall.
Right.
I think Indiana was like, that's not enough.
Right.
At least with the OKC deal, you do get a scorer in Oladipo, you do get Sabonis, and there's some salary cap implication that frees you up that allows you to maybe go out and get other free agents. Like they re-signed Andre Roberson, who gives you, again, that length on defense. And that's going to be critical. Now you got Westbrook, you got George, you got Roberson. Again, in an attempt to try and stop the wing play in Golden State, you keep your elite level defender, you add a scorer, and he's a 1-year rental.
He's a 1-year rental. It's definitely a 1-year rental.
The good thing, though, is that when he becomes a free agent, he's a free agent with Russell Westbrook. And they may decide, hey, if this works with the two of us, now we go as a package to somewhere else. Everybody been saying Paul George to LA, Lonzo Ball going to LA. Is there room for Russell Westbrook in LA? I don't know.
Not unless Lonzo is a 1-year rental.
Unless
he's a 1-year rental too. Yeah. Big baller brand, 1 year, LA. I don't see that happening. They're putting a lot of future on him in LA.
Yeah.
So,
but that was an interesting move, man. I mean, OKC, they signed Patrick Patterson, and we'll get to some under-the-radar signings a little later. But he being another guy who ideally can stretch the floor. I know he's been terrible in the playoffs. But that's another guy with length who can score. I mean, again, another attempt to stop what's happening in Golden State. It's like everybody's so reactionary to what's happening, as it should be. But it's like, yeah, you didn't even get Dr. Pepper. You got like Dr. B back for Paul George. But
for you done Texas people, Dr. B is like the Walmart version of Dr. Pepper.
Right, and it's good.
It tastes good, all right. It's carbonated, it's bubbly,
It's not Dr.
What
Pepper,
is it? Well, how many secret ingredients is in Dr. Pepper? 20-something, 23?
Maybe.
Yeah, Dr. B only got like 17, so it just, if that. Right. Last major move.
Jimmy Butler to
the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Jimmy Butler going to the Timberwolves. So it was Jimmy Butler, it was Paul George, it was Gordon Hayward who went to Boston. Shout out to Gordon Hayward. Even though if you're Boston, I mean, you gave up defense for scoring, and I'm not gonna hate that because as our friend Avon Jordan always says, in this league with Golden State, stop trying to play defense. You got to put up buckets. So I can appreciate that. Now you add Hayward with Isaiah Thomas. But Jimmy Butler going to Minnesota, it's got Towns, it's got Wiggins. I mean, that front court immediately is boasted by what you can do on the wing. I don't know if Butler plays the 2 or the 3. I'm not sure that it matters.
It doesn't.
But you get a guy who can score. Right. You get a guy who can defend and who can be sort of like, at 27, the elder statesman on that team.
Right, he's still in his prime. And then you talk about some of the supplemental moves that they did. They shipped out Rubio. They brought in what's my man from Atlanta, point guard? Oh, he's in Indiana actually.
Teague.
They bring in Jeff Teague. They bring in Taj Gibson.
Yeah.
And Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler. Let's not forget. I think as an other piece to it is those are old Thibodeau guys from Chicago, and they look up to Thibodeau. I think that they will listen to him, and I mean that's a dangerous combination of young talent. I definitely, I had a conversation. I started to ask myself, with those moves, how many teams in the West are actually better than Minnesota? Now, granted, they got to play, but when you talk about that bottom of the 8 seeds that made it to the playoffs last year, you talking about your Portlands, your OKCs,
and you think
Utahs,
about the teams that didn't make it. Denver. I mean, are they better than Denver now? Now Denver added Paul Millsap.
They did have Paul Millsap, but they said they don't know if they better than Minnesota. I guess they'll have to play, but I don't know if they better than. And I like Jamal Murray. Yeah, the young cat that's out there.
They still got Will Barton.
But I don't know if they have. I loved Millsap, and I love that signing, because I think it does look something. But they lost Gallinari.
Yeah, which he was only going to play 40 games.
Right, because he missed the glass team, glass team. But, Minnesota, I think, is going to be an exciting team. If there was one team I would say that, that comes on a Thursday night or on a Sunday doubleheader, and you might not watch them, may have not watched them last year, go ahead and check them out, because that team is going to be a little bit different there in Minnesota.
Yeah, you got some good leadership. I like the trade. I mean, I didn't think that they gave up too much. I also didn't think that Chicago got screwed. Now, we don't know what Zach LaVine is going to be able to do. He's coming off major surgery with that Achilles. If he's able to bring a spark to Chicago, he could be a new type of wing player for them too.
Right.
Again, really interesting thing. But I do have. I'm gonna pull out
the paper.
I've got some underrated moves that happen.
Underrated moves, baby. Don't bring the list out, baby.
Say good. I don't know if
he put the glasses out too. He put the glasses out.
We'll make sure I get it right. So I'm pulling out the specs.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a name, and you just tell me
good or bad. Okay.
So Dirk Nowitzki signs a 2-year deal for $10 million with the Mavs.
I say that's good, just strictly for the fact that he'll be able. I think they said like 20 years with the same franchise. That shows that's a different part of the basketball game. I mean, I would dare not call Dirk Nowitzki trash. But his own court, what's the word I'm looking for? Production has declined with age and everything. So I don't think that you expect, like, he's not all-star Dirk, and that's fine. Right. But strictly on that side of basketball, him being able to stay with that franchise for another couple of years, I think it's a great move. Good.
And I'm just gonna give a shout out to the power of the black woman, because it seems like, and they've said that Dirk Nowitzki continues to take less money on these contracts, giving Dallas some real flexibility.
Right.
Hey, Dirk showed up with the Tupperware to a game one time. I mean, the black woman that he's married to is keeping him very happy. I'm just saying.
Shout out Dirk.
We talked about Andre Roberson, 3 years, $30 million. Seems like a lot, but what you're paying for is defense. But Bojan Bogdanovic, 2 years, $21 million with the Pacers.
I saw his name bouncing around. A lot of people said that he was supposed to go earlier in free agent. He was supposed to be one of the hot commodities, but with some of the trades and stuff, I think it kind of shook it up, and then his name kind of fell. So if he would have fell even longer as far as timeline of getting signed, he was going to get even less money. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't watched much of Bogdanovic, so I can't tell you what he going to do. He's going to Indiana. Indiana ain't got Paul George no more. I like Miles Turner, young talent, but they're gonna be like the outlands of the Eastern Conference. Yeah. I hope they're able to battle for a playoff spot, but I don't. And they let go of my boy, the guard, Monte Ellis. They waived Monte Ellis, so they on the baby rebuild. You waived Monte Ellis, but you kept Stevenson. So they kind of just already said what they gonna do with their season. They better hurry up turning around.
Monte pulled that stunt all season. You can't be pulling stunts, and you old and you trash. Sorry, Monte. This ain't Golden State of yesteryear, brother. You got to be on the up and up when you old and you can't bust a grape in the league no more.
So yeah.
Vince Carter, 1 year, $8 million with the Kings. Veteran leadership.
The only reason why I'm gonna say bad. The only reason, no, but hear me out. No, I'm happy for Vince. I think he's worth the $8 million.
Yes.
I think it's a good signing for the organization. The only reason why I'm gonna say bad is because not that I want him to chase a championship, but he's mortgaged that for at least for another year.
Sure.
Because he's going to Sacramento. It's another black hole of the league. But they got some young. They drafted pretty well.
Yeah, they had a good draft.
On namesake, they drafted some great players, and I think that they're gonna make an impact. But they already in rebuild mode. But again, Veteran leadership, yes. Another year for Vince Carter, yes. But I say bad only for him because, you know, he ain't gonna get in the Hall of Fame for being a great veteran locker room guy.
Yeah, but I will say, as the elder statesman on that team with Fox and some of the other young guys, like he's going to show them what it means to be professional.
Absolutely.
And I think for a franchise that is trying to get over the DeMarcus Cousins area, a little professionalism wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick Young, 1 year, 5.2 with the Warriors. In fact, I'm gonna give you 2 for 1 special.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you Nick Young, and I'm gonna give you Omri Caspi, who signed a 2.7 1-year deal with the Warriors. They got Nick Young and Omri Caspi.
Okay, so my first, Nick Young. I am Groot. For Omar Caspi, a steal. Yes, all day long. I think that guy is built for a system like that. He snuck up under the. They stole him. Somebody messed up. Somebody messed up for not signing him. Yeah. Ultimately, let him go over there. You know, and that he's built for that. He's a big wing player. He can stretch in the low post, and he can shoot the ball. Yeah. Perfect for Golden State at 2.7.
Yeah, that's
a hired mercenary for 1 year. Yeah, somebody messed up by not putting him on their roster, so he couldn't go to Golden State. Reload. So
this is one of the reasons why I say this race to catch Golden State is just beyond me, because I absolutely agree with Caspi. And I would say what you said about Caspi, I also give it to Nick Young. Nick Young continues to shoot over 40% from three. All he does is catch and shoot.
Absolutely.
And you were able to get Sean Livingston three years for $24 million.
And Iguodala for 3 years, $48 million.
And David West is coming back. I mean, again, the league still has a lot to work to do, because what they don't understand is that Golden State didn't build a superstar team. They drafted. They added a free agent, and they continue to put pieces around in a system that fits.
I need for y'all to watch what we do, because I said that in the last episode. Not only does Golden State get props for what they do on the court, the executives doing it off the court. Yeah. They have money to spend. I was surprised that Iguodala signed for that much, but look what you do for the team when you're talking about the core superstars. Now you're talking about the core role players, and then you go out there and get these auxiliary players to sign, and boom, now you back in it, and like it's arms race.
Yeah, and real quick, just because I think it's important,
I think that
because I think it's important. Kevin Durant took all of this heat for going to Golden State, and everybody's talking about how you go to the team that you lose to. And what you saw in this offseason was Steph Curry, who could have signed for way more than the max. He got paid and took less. Kevin Durant waited until they were able to do other free agent moves and essentially took less so that they can continue to have a run for at least 2 more years.
Solid
2 more years.
Solid.
It's more than just what we see from an outsider's perspective. Right. Obviously, there's some benefit to being a superstar type of player, to go to a team that allows you to really maximize what you do well on a basketball court. And when you get in a system that allows you to just do what you do well, it's hard to pass that up.
Man.
And you can't hate a guy for doing that. You just can't do it.
You can't fault it.
Jose Calderon signed with the Cavs. $2.3 million.
I think Jose Cal. I think like it was probably about 5-6 years ago when I still was playing fantasy basketball. I had Jose Calderon. He did some good things for me. I think that so fantasy wise, he ain't gonna do that. I think it's a veteran guy. But, I don't know. I know he's a good assist man. He's not necessarily known for scoring. So if Kyrie is coming off the floor and you're putting Calderon in the game, other than not turning over the ball, I don't know. They also signed Jeff Green. But go ahead.
He's not fast.
He
can't shoot anymore. He plays no defense. Terrible signing.
I am Groot.
Terrible. But I will say the Pistons got Langston Galloway. 3 years, $21 million.
I don't know who Langston Galloway is.
You know Langston Galloway. Langston Galloway used to play for the Knicks, kind of bounced around a little bit. Look, Langston Galloway can score the basketball. Okay. No, he ain't great. He's not an all-star. But for a team that struggles shooting the ball, particularly with what's coming off the bench, I thought Langston Galloway was a good pickup.
I won't doubt that. And I'll say that based off what you're saying about how he can score the ball, that's good, especially since I understand that they couldn't come to an agreement with Caldwell Pope
Right.
And so he became an unrestricted free agent, and I doubt that he's going back to Detroit. But I mean, they're getting Avery Bradley, who I think is one of the, when you talk about two-way players,
yes,
you can say that you could argue for him definitely being like in the top 20, make an argument for the top 15. I think they get him in a kind of weird situation with Gordon Hayward going to Boston and them having to create cap space, and then they were afraid of not being able to sign Bradley next year.
Right.
That's a little bit of a cop out, but I understand the business side, whatever. But I would have loved to see him stay on the Celtics roster. But Detroit, I think, is getting a not necessarily a diamond in the rough, but he had his coming out party with Boston last year, and you're actually able to see his worth. Very smart player, defense first player. They get a little something.
And then I talked about Danny Ainge having the opportunity to become one of the greatest GMs after the draft. Still not sure how I really feel about Tatum right now. He looks more like LaMarcus Aldridge to me, but maybe he shows a little bit. Maybe he shows a little bit more tenacity with
that one-legged fadeaway jump. He's not even a post player.
Saying, maybe he shows a little bit more tenacity when he gets to the league, but I think Danny Ainge was playing with house money getting rid of Bradley, too. You still got Marcus Smart, who they didn't want to give up. And you got Jaylen Brown, give him a few more minutes to see what he can do. Again, scoring in this NBA seems to trump defense. So, I mean, I can't be mad at Boston.
If I'm Ainge, I'm pretty sure they tried to do it. They said they shopped more than just Bradley, but I would have tried to get rid of Crowder or Smart before Bradley. But hey, kind of go with it, pull the trigger. Anything else on that paper?
Nobody we need to talk about. Darren Collison's on a new team. Somebody actually paid Tyreke Evans to play 37 games this year, this upcoming year. I mean, you had nothing else of true. Amir Johnson is going to Philly, another veteran guy. I mean, we know Embiid's only going to play 60 games.
That's a shame.
But I am interested to see how Philly looks though. We talked about being worried about Embiid. I'm very excited to see Simmons. I'm interested to see how far.
Fultz went down to summer league.
He got a little ankle sprain. He ain't playing no more. Lonzo Ball's not playing tonight. Shocker against Mr. Fox in Sacramento.
He's not going to get upstage twice. For optics' sake, we're not even going to allow that to happen. They asked him, hey, why Ball ain't playing tonight? I am Groot.
I do like Fox as my rookie of the year though this year.
Yes, that dude is ready. I think that dude is ready. His speed and his size is, and nobody's going to be able to stop him. I think he gets a lot of easy buckets, and then the part of the game that you're worried about, as far as that people are worried about his jump shot. Yes. I think his speed, his smarts, his IQ gets him in the best situations, and we could see almost like another situation with a young Rajon Rondo where you couldn't tell that his shooting was terrible because when he did shoot it, it was in the best situations, and he was able to make that bucket. But assists, getting to the basket, all that stuff, we're going to see that guy go fast and do all the good stuff.
There's still moves to be made. I mean, the NBA, I'm pretty sure we're on the downside of the NBA. Baseball is going to be kicking up. We may not talk about too much baseball on UnProfessionals, but if we get around to it, just know that is a sport that some people still do watch.
Go Astros!
Shout out to the Astros.
Shout out to the Astros. Go Astros!
But I do want to say real quick, Houston, don't freak out. I understand that y'all had a fascination for Patrick Beverley, Chris Paul, better offensively, and actually a better defender. So you'll be fine. I also want to make sure that I mention, not sure how it's going to work out in New Orleans, but if they figure out Cousins and Anthony Davis how to play together, and they find anybody who can shoot the ball on the wing, it could be a real problem in the West having to face them in the playoffs. Yeah. And just speaking to that, I was going to say earlier that when you talked about Houston making the move and then, Spurs getting gay and putting that back to the that Western Conference. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't do nothing but suck up a lot of talent. Paul George, Jimmy Butler, those guys alone going over to the Western Conference is doing a lot. It's literally the Wild West. It's going to be the Wild West. Coming out of the Wild West, you're going to be battle-tested. Yet another big thing for a team coming out of the East, most likely, I still say LeBron and the Cavs, maybe, but Boston.
No doubt.
I'm saying, Boston was a team that made the best moves to try to combat.
And they ain't did enough.
And they ain't did enough.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, LeBron James has basically proven that he is the Michael Jordan of this era because everybody keeps running away from the East. How you run away from the East? You got the juggernaut in the West, but you go to the West because you don't want to deal with that boy in the East. I just
okay. We can finish it off like this. We'll finish it off like this. Question. 2-part question.
Yes.
Does Carmelo leave New York? And if he does, in your estimation, does he end up with either Houston or Cleveland?
Carmelo leaves New York and he goes to Cleveland.
Yeah. And
they don't have to give up Carmelo. Yeah. I mean, they don't have to give up Kevin Love. Right. And they still lose to Golden State.
Oh, yeah. It's sad that they say, because one of the things that I said was, well, man, dang, after Chris Paul went to Houston, I was like, oh man, Carmelo might want to consider. And then the last reports I heard coming out, I didn't realize that him and D'Antoni didn't get along when he was the head coach in New York. So I was like, oh, y'all can forget that. So that's the reason why I do think New York can't afford not to make a move. Because Carmelo should not be on the roster. Yeah, he should definitely not be on the roster past the All-Star break. And the only destination I see him going to is Cleveland. And especially if Cleveland can get it done without moving Kevin Love, and they still lose to Golden State.
Yeah, it might be closer. It might be a closer series, but they still lose.
Yeah,
and I think it's just an indictment on Phil why Carmelo is still on the Knicks roster, because he's willing now, because of his relationship with James Dolan, to work on a buyout or to waive the no-trade clause. Right. So that's not something he was doing for Phil. I don't blame him. Yeah. Shout out to Carmelo. And I do think that you see a different Carmelo should he end up in either spot.
Right.
I think we see more of an Olympic Carmelo Anthony.
Right. Well, I guess that's what we said we was going to end it on. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, it's us right here. Like I said, be looking out for the podcast. We want to be able to get you from behind your desktop and have your phone propped up somewhere. You can just plug us in and listen to us anytime. Please continue to comment. And again, like I said, we're going to open up more avenues. We're working with people. We some armchair executives.
And then when we do the podcast, man, we can get into some of the more stuff that we like to talk about, like the fact that Future was definitely blowing this whole Jay-Z subliminal message out of proportion. Future, bro, settle down. You're the hottest thing in rap right now. Stop getting in your feelings, please.
I want to talk about the Jay-Z album, and we won't. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are young and you are aspiring and you're trying to get your finances right and you're trying to understand how any of this stuff works in the world, your springboard could be the 444 album by Jay-Z. Just listen to him. He's trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. That's what he's trying to do. And if you heard the album, you know what I'm talking about.
Shout out to Jay-Z.
Shout out to Jay. 47 years old and possibly not his best album, but I'm talking about the best album since the Black Album.
I mean,
best album since the Black Album. Thank you. That old cats like me in hip hop wait for the day when he drops them. I thought that's what Magna Carta was gonna be. Like that was decent, but this right, he was starting on Magna Carta. Right now, he's teaching us a little something. And yes, Future. His son is playing football. Whatever. It was just a line, bro. It was just a line. So anyway, as always, it's your boy Slim
and C,
and we are the UnProfessionals. Check you next time.